Sometimes it's easy to get distracted, but we really have to stick to following our instincts and following our own path. Hey everybody, I'm Michelle Carre and welcome to Your Delicious Life, where each week we take a look at life from a different perspective and either learn something new or get reminded of something that we already knew. This week's episode is called Follow Your Nose and Don't Worry About the Birds. Now this week's episode is inspired by our dog Sue Ellen. Sue Ellen is a Puggle, so she is half pug, half beagle. And believe me when I tell you that she very much has that beagle nose. Now, Suey and I call her Suey, have been going on a number of walks lately. The weather is gorgeous, and we both agree that this is appropriate weather for walks. She's a fair weather walker, as am I. So we've been out there going for walks, and of course, with that beagle nose, she spends most of our walks sniffing and just following that nose and very persistent with the beagle nose. And what I realized is she is so laser focused with that nose, she doesn't notice the other animals that are flying around. She doesn't hear the birds chirping in the long grass next to the creek. She doesn't see them flying from branch to branch. She's just focused on the sniffs that she is sniffing as we go about the walk. I get that following your instincts and not getting distracted is probably a lot easier for a dog that eats the exact same kibble for every single meal, but I think we can take a cue from her as well, because we often get distracted by the birds, so to speak, in our lives, whether it's seeing what someone else is doing or being distracted by a perceived success that another person has, or being distracted by another project or an opportunity that's come your way. But instead of getting distracted by someone's post on Instagram, which probably isn't as it seems anyways, or getting distracted by an opportunity that you're not fully passionate about, we need to stay focused on our instincts and follow those instead. You chose your goal or your business, or you've made life decisions for a reason. And those reasons are instinctual in many, many ways. And they're rooted in your strengths. They're rooted in a unique ability or a talent that only you have. So following these instincts is incredibly important, just like when Sue Ellen follows her nose. Let's be honest, Sue Ellen mostly cares about where other dogs have peed, but every now and then, little rabbit Foo-Foo goes hopping down the path, and she is distracted. She looks at that rabbit, and she believes that with every fiber of her being, that she can catch it. She pulls on the leash, trying to go after this bunny, and I'm like, hell no, because it won't end the way she expects it to, and quite frankly, I don't want to have any part of that if she were to catch up with the bunny, which she probably wouldn't anyways. Big things are going to grab your attention too, more than the chirping birds or a new idea. But just because you see another big distraction doesn't mean you have to run toward it. Instead, stop. Look at it, watch it, acknowledge it, learn from it, and question if it's really worth going after or not. It's funny, when Sue Ellen sees a bunny, sometimes she'll sit there and you can see her sort of vibrating as she stares at this animal, trying to decide if it's worth it to go after it or not. And of course she couldn't anyways because I wouldn't let her, but it's that moment, it's that breath to really decide if this is something that's important to you or not, because sometimes we can learn from the distraction without having to actually chase after it and being taken off our path. This is a loud world, you guys, and we really have to acknowledge our instincts and follow those instincts so that we can stay on our path and not get distracted by things that don't really matter or serve us. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you next week for the next episode of Your Delicious Life.